A lot of times founders will ask me about how they protected their ownership stake in the company. And they may have heard of terms like dilution and anti-dilution protection, and they want to know, how that applies to them and whether or not they can use it to protect their ownership interest. Anti-dilution actually doesn't apply to founder stock. It is a mechanism that changes the conversion ratio from preferred stock to common stock. And you can check out the anti-dilution page and check out the video there to get a little bit more information on that. But yeah, the quick summary is that it doesn't apply to founder stock. The protection that typically applies to founder stock is just the fact that the founders are going to have the same class of stock as all the other founders do. And that, as a group, the founders are going to be very influential. They're going to have probably a majority ownership at least through the first couple of rounds of finance. They're going to have representation on the board. They're going to be officers of the company. And so in large part, they're protected just by, them each being founders. Now, that kind of leads to the question of like, well, what happens if there's a dispute between founders, or what happens if investors and founders are on one side of something and I'm on another side of something? And my answer to that really is that you're vulnerable, and that's just kind of the risk that you take when you go on a venture track. When you take venture capital money, when you work with institutional investors, there's a tacit agreement that you're going on a certain track, and going on that track means that each of the individual founders is going to have to be vulnerable. The investors, don't want to have somebody with a cemented position in the company who has an automatic pathway to some value of the exit if the company should get there, regardless of whether they continue to contribute to the company. So that's just something that's going to apply to everybody. I mean, there's going to be some value that you get in your vested stock, and there's going to be some value that you get in your salary, and you can negotiate those things. But for the most part, there's that agreement in place that if we're going to go on this path, then each one of us as an individual is going to be vulnerable. But us, as long as we're sort of bound together and continue to vote in ways that will protect our class of common stock as a whole, then there's going to be a good amount of protection that applies.